crafty friends, and happy June! Can you believe it's June 1st already? Well, I'm excited it's June 1st because I am creating with the Spellbinders June card kit of the month. This one is all about birthdays. Here is the cute little box, and this one is called Party Hat and Streamers. So let's pull everything out of this box and I'll show you what's inside. Oops, I lost a few things to the side there. Let's pull off this tissue paper and find the contents page. Here it is. So the dies make up this darling party hat, and on the flip side it shows you how to put it together. I'm actually going to put one together for card number 1. Here are the adhesives and the card bases and envelopes. You get 10 card bases and envelopes. This time you get some beautiful gold sequins, and you have many different sizes in that pack. You have some party hats with shiny puffball stickers on the top. You always get some chipboard stickers, double-sided. These have a lot of fun sentiments included with it. And next up is the die-cut shapes. I'll show you this in closer detail at the end. I had so much fun with these puffy stickers. I think I used almost every single one to create these cards, but I love the sentiments. And here is the stamp set. This one was fabulous because I used a lot of the sentiments on the insides of my cards as well as the outsides. It's always nice to have a cute sentiment to stamp on the insides of your cards. And here are the dies. They're very easy to put together, but they make up the cutest party hat. It even has a fringe along the bottom and a little puffball, I don't know what to call it, puffball for the top of the party hat. And then you get the sentiment that says make a wish, as well as some flowers. I'll store it on my Spellbinders magnet diamond. And let's look at the pattern paper. It's a thin weight pattern paper, great for layering. And you get 2 of each design. So I love that first pattern there with the flowers. You get some candles. You get a nice mixture of bold patterns and more neutral patterns to work with. I always use up a lot of these patterns for my cards. I love that stripe there. And then this one I think is my absolute favorite. It's just pretty. And as always, the pattern paper coordinates beautifully with the die-cut shapes and the stamps and the stickers. I love this text block pattern. Here is a candy pattern and then a green polka dot. And that's it. So let's look at the cardstock. You always get a double-sided metallic gold, and this time you get blue and green, orange and a bright yellow, a light pink, a dark pink, black, and a white. And here are all of the die-cut shapes. I just kind of spread them out across my desk so you could get a good look at all of them. Look at this cute little ice cream with a rainbow coming out of it. But you get a lot of mixtures of inanimate objects like these cute little glasses, and then florals and sentiments. I really love the flowers this time too. They're so pretty. Okay, so for card number 1, I'm pulling out this piece of pattern paper that says Happy Birthday on it. And it's a very subtle pattern. Next, I'll start die cutting the pieces to the party hat, and I have all of my colors selected here. Now I just have to cut them down and run them through my die cut machine. And here they are all ready to go. I'll attach my pattern paper to the card base, leaving a white border. Then I wanted to add a little bit of color to this card. So I'm using some saltwater taffy, and I'm just going to blend on a little bit of pink. Let me skip ahead here. This did take a while to brush on. Here it is, all ready to go. Okay, let's assemble this darling party hat. So you cut it out once with the pink and again with the orange. The pink one, I cut it out a second time using the diagonal stripes die, and I'm just folding it along the crease that was embossed into it. For the piece that goes on the inside, you're going to cut along the embossed lines, so it'll fit inside the pink diagonal stripe piece. There we go. Okay, next I'm going to attach the fringe to the bottom of the party hat. And this fringe is so cute. I'm going to kind of fluff it up here just a little bit so you can tell it's a fringe and not just a piece of paper there. But let's go ahead and attach the orange piece on the inside. I'll put it in there and then put some glue along these tabs. And then just hold this in place. And here it is. Okay, so let's kind of ruffle up the fringe. This is a fun die to have in your collection. This is the little puff ball that goes on the top of the party hat. I'm going to use my tweezers to twist this. So you start at the thicker end and you twist it down to the thin end. And at the very end, you add just a little bit of glue. So hold it in place. Okay, let's twist this up one more time here. But it's such a clever, well thought out little die set. Okay, I'll hold this in place for a minute for it to dry. And then you pull back all of the fringe pieces. And there it is. Isn't that cute? And this will just go up at the top of the hat. So I'm adding some foam squares behind the party hat. And I'll attach this on an angle in the middle of the card. To attach the puff ball at the top of the hat, I'm using a glue dot, as well as a little bit of glue just for good measure. And then I'm just going to press this at the top of the hat. And with the foam squares behind it, it kind of is the same height, so it's not overly dimensional, which is nice. Now let's attach the sentiment. I'm dabbing it off onto a piece of scrap paper and lining it up along the bottom of the party hat. I'm just following the lines on the sentiment on this pattern paper to help me keep it straight. The die that cut out had the A attached to it, which was really nice, so you don't lose a small die like an A, a letter A. Now let's glue down Wish. And I'm kind of putting it askew at the bottom, just to make it interesting. I made up a bunch of flowers, and I'm going to glue 3 on the party hat. And then 2 at the bottom, just to have an odd number of flowers. I end up putting little gems in the center of each of these flowers, just to add a little touch of sparkle, and you'll see that here at the end when I show you the card. Let's put the last flower down. And I always like to decorate the insides of my cards. It just adds a special touch to the greeting card. And here it is all done. And here is a peek at the inside. I used a die cut, or 2 die cut shapes on the inside. And now on to card number 2. So this is going to be a cake card. So I'm using this cake pattern paper. And I'm going to pull out my Fiskars paper trimmer to cut this down to size. This will be cut down to 4 by 5 1/4 so that it leaves a little bit of a border on the card. And I'm going to mat this with this soft pink cardstock. So I'll cut this out to 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And then I can attach this to the card base using some dot liner. And of course you could use liquid glue too. I just go back and forth between my liquid glue and my dot liner. Now for the pattern paper. I'll put some dot liner on this. I love this subtle gray pattern. It's so pretty, and then you can just add color on top of it. Okay, so let's open up this pack of puffy stickers. And the sentiment is going to be the one that says, "Let's eat cake." I thought that would go perfect with this die cut shape of the cake. Now to do this, I'm going to peel out the insides of the letters just to get rid of those. And then it would be helpful just to cut the acetate around this sentiment. I'll do that later on in this video when I figure that part out. But I'm going to use some of the yellow tape to pick this up. I like the arrangement, how it is, and I want to keep it in place. I know that if I do it letter by letter, I won't get it even. So I'm going to pick it up with some of the yellow tape. Okay, now I'll flip this over and I'm just going to peel back the acetate and just slowly lift up the acetate, leaving the letters on this tape. And I didn't pick up the apostrophe, but I'll add that at the end. Also, at this point, you'll want to add some liquid glue. I forgot to do it on this first card, so I'm hoping the letters don't fall off. But on all of my other cards where I use these puffy stickers, I do add liquid glue behind the letters, just in case. So now let's press this into the pattern paper. And then I'll peel the yellow tape back on itself and just slowly take the tape off the letters. There we go. I think that looks so cute. I love how it's arranged. So let's grab the apostrophe with the all-in-one tool. I got to fix this L here as well. Now I can pick up the apostrophe and just put that in place. I'm putting some foam squares behind the cake die cut shape, and I'll pop that up above the cake. I think that looks so cute in that little indentation there. I added a flower on the cake and a few of the gold sequins, and here it is all done. On the inside, I added more ephemera shapes. On the next card, I'm going to use this beautiful piece of floral pattern paper, and I'm pairing it with this cute orange pattern paper. I thought they just went so well together. I already put it on a white card base, and now I'm just adding the floral pattern paper on top. And then I can just flip it over and trim off the excess. I'll use this little wedge of paper I'm cutting out on the inside of my card so I don't waste this pretty paper. Okay, now we're going to do the same thing. We'll just tape the letters and peel back the acetate. And I'm making sure to pull out any of the negative space inside the letters. And then I'll add a little bit of glue. I did forget to put the little dot on top of the I, but I'll have to put something else in its place because I think that is gone. I don't think I'm ever finding that. I'm just kind of gauging where to put this so I can put the big word next to it. But this is just an easy way to pick up these sentiments and keep them in line. Otherwise, it's hard to put them straight on your card. At least for me, it is. So let's pick up the big. And I'll use my all-in-one tool just to pop out the negative space in the B. Almost forget to add glue, but I will add some glue to this. And then I can put this down next to the wish. I really like the different fonts on these words. They're so cute together. Next, I'm going to use one of these little flowers, or it looks like an asterisk to me, and I'll put that above my sentiment. I trimmed out a strip of metallic cardstock that I'm going to use to cover up the seam between these two pattern papers. Then I can flip it over and cut off the excess. This adds such a nice finishing touch to the card, I think. Last, I'm going to add some small gems to the centers of all of the flowers on this card. And here it is all done. The sentiment I stamped on the inside goes really well with this wish big. It says, "Now wish like you mean it." For my next card, the feature of it is going to be these cute candle die cut shapes. But I wanted to add a little bit of yellow behind them, so I'm using some scattered straw. And I'm not worried about getting a smooth blend above the pattern paper. It's just at the very top that I want it just to be a soft yellow. Now I can glue down the candle ephemera pieces. And that just gives it a nice soft glow. I'll use another strip of the metallic cardstock. And then the word celebrate, I'm going to put right on the metallic strip. There's also a really cute gold heart that I'll put kind of at the top on the right. And that's all I did to this card. I love how simple but yet pretty it is. On the inside, I stamped the sentiment "Happy Birthday" and used more a candle ephemera. I'm going to do a little more blending on my next card, so I pulled out my Saltwater Taffy Distress Oxide ink. And I just want a soft haze of it on the side of this card. It looks really bad at the bottom, but that's going to be covered with the green pattern paper. But I just wanted a soft little touch of color on the side there. I already added dot liner to my pattern paper. And then at the top, I'm going to use this sentiment that says "Woohoo." So again, I'll pick it up with the yellow tape. And this time I'm leaving the negative space inside. The negative pieces are white, so it goes really well with the white card base. Let's add a little bit of glue, and then I'll add the exclamation mark in just a minute. I couldn't get it all on this piece of tape I have. I chose the green pattern paper for this card because it really showcases this sentiment. So I'll glue this down at the top of the card. And then gently peel up the tape. I accidentally peel up one of the centers to the O, but I can easily pop that back into place. Now I can add the exclamation mark, and I'll put a little dab of glue for the dot at the bottom. And I'll just bring in my all-in-one tool to pick this up. It's so little. The rainbow I'm going to pop up with some foam squares and attach that at the bottom of the card. Again, this is a very simple card, but all these little touches make it look so pretty. I'll add a few of these little stars or flowers or whatever they are around this panel in the place of sequins. Here it is all done. And then on the inside, I stamped the sentiment that says "Sending birthday hugs." This next card is one of my favorites. I just love this pattern paper with the block of text. And I'm going to use the sentiment that says "Just say yay," as well as this little pink frame. And again, I'm going to keep the sentiment in the shape that it is on the acetate here. So I'll pick it up with some more yellow tape. Let me get one more piece of yellow tape for the Y and the J. And this is where I start cutting out the sentiment. It's just easier to maneuver if you cut these out before you peel them off the acetate. Okay, now that makes it really easy just to peel off the acetate from the back. I'll use my all-in-one tool to peel out the inner bits to the letters because I forgot to do that beforehand. I'll add little dabs of glue behind it. And then I'll line it up with the line of text. So it's really easy to make it straight on this card because of this text block. So let's kind of put it down at the bottom corner. I'll use my frame as a reference. Let me move this frame to get it out of the way, and then I can press this into place. I have to kind of look over it to make sure it's even along the text. I'll pull the tape back on itself to take it off. I love the way these words are placed together. So let's put the frame down next, and I do make sure to put glue behind this as well. They aren't very tacky, they're just slightly tacky, so you will definitely need some glue on your chipboard stickers. And again, I'm using the text to line it up straight. I'll put this cake in the middle. I did go ahead and add some peach sequins around this panel. And here it is all done. It came together really fast, but again, this is one of my favorites. On the inside, I stamped out the sentiment that says, "Hey, birthday girl." Okay, next card, we're going to use stripes and flowers together. One of my favorite mixes. So I glued down the striped pattern paper first, and I'm just adding the floral piece over it. I'm using the sentiment that says, "Let's party." The sentiment is big and bold enough not to be lost in this busy pattern paper. So I'm just taping it or gluing it down at the bottom of this card. I'll put the apostrophe between the T and the S. In the die cut shapes, there are flowers that match this pattern paper perfectly. So I'm going to put a little trio of flowers at the side of the sentiments. Two of them I'm gluing down flat. And then the third one, I'll use a foam square behind it. There's also this pretty orange leaf that I'll glue, or I'll tuck and glue under the pink flower. And that's all there is to this card. On the inside, I stamped another sentiment that says, "Happy birthday, wonderful people deserve wonderful birthdays." I thought that was so cute. We're up to card number 8 already, and I'm using a tag from the ephemera shapes, and I'm stamping a sentiment onto it. The sentiment says, "Hey, birthday girl," and I'm just trying to fit it completely on the tag. I pulled out all of the butterflies from the ephemera pack, and I'm going to be using those on the front of the card. But first, let's put together our pattern paper and the pink cardstock onto the white card base. The tag I'm going to pop up with some foam squares. But first, let's use some black licorice twine at the top of this tag, as well as a bow, hence the micro dot I'm using. I'll add a little bit of glue as well. Press that in place, and then I can trim off the ends of this bow. Now I can peel off the release paper from the back of the foam squares. And I'm going to put this tag on the card at an angle. Let's trim the top of this tag down a little bit. So the butterflies I'm also going to pop up with foam squares. They're all going to be slightly touching the tag. And then I'll use the second ephemera shape. I'm gently folding the wings up slightly, just to give it some dimension and movement. And I'll just glue that in place just along the body of the butterfly. Let's do that with the second butterfly. I was glad I hadn't used any of these butterfly ephemera shapes yet, because I love it when you have two. It really adds a nice touch to the cards. So I'll glue the butterfly on top. Now for the littlest butterfly, I'll just use 2 small squares behind it. Let's peel off the release paper. I'll fold up the ends to the second butterfly and just add a line of glue down the center, and I'll use my all-in-one tool just to press that into place. And here it is, all done. The patterned paper kind of looks like a sky scene, so I thought it went very well. I stamped another sentiment on the inside. On card number 9, I pulled out some more Distress Oxide ink. This is Victorian Velvet. And again, I want just a touch of color at the top of this card. I add the ink onto my brush and then I tap it onto the bottom. And I'm not concerned about the bottom being seen because I am going to cover it up with the ephemera shapes. But I just want a soft blend at the top of the card. Now I can glue my ephemera shapes in place. Everything's going down flat, except for the presents in the front. I love that paper bag piece with the heart on it. I have a scallop shape that I'll put down next under the packages and the cake, just so they don't look like they are floating on the card. So let's add a little stripe of glue behind it. And press that right up to the present and the bag. The cake is going to add some height to this scene. I'm just trying to tuck it behind the present and the bag. And again, the presents I popped up with some foam squares. Trying to get that down straight. And then what's a paper bag without a cute bow on it? So I'm using some more of the black licorice twine. And I'm going to tie a little bow on the side of this bag. This adds some fun texture to the card as well. So I'll just tie a really small bow up the top there. The sentiment is another puffy sticker, and it says, "Yay." I'm going to center this right under the presents. And then I can peel off the yellow tape, and I've reused this yellow tape several times. It's great because you can reuse it. I'll add a few purple sequins around this panel. I love this little scene. It's so fun. And here is a close-up look at card number 9, as well as a peek at the inside. More of the sentiments from the stamp set. It was such a great stamp set. And now for card number 10. I used some elegant twist square dies to cut out this frame. And I'm stamping the sentiment "Happy Birthday," as well as the candles in the stamp set. And I'm going to do a little bit of Copic coloring. The candles I stamped out with Copic-friendly ink, as well as the sentiment, but the sentiment wasn't dark enough, so I reapplied my VersaFine Onyx Black ink over it just to make it nice and dark. But you don't want to use VersaFine Onyx Black ink with your Copic markers because they will bleed. I'll do some quick and easy Copic coloring. Now I have this cute speckled pink cardstock that I'm putting down. Next I'll put my frame down flat. And then all of these cute flowers I'm popping up with foam squares. I'm just going to put at the bottom of all of these candles. I'm just putting one foam square in the middle so that I can tuck the foliage behind them easily. So let's put down this middle flower. And all of the foliage I'll glue down flat. I pulled out a lot of leaves from the ephemera shapes, and I like a lot of foliage for my flowers. So this flower I have to kind of pick up so that I can stick it behind the foam square. There we go. This next one I decided just to trim down a little bit with my scissors. So this is a great card kit to pick up if you need to make up a bunch of birthday cards to have in your stash. I know I go through birthday cards pretty fast, more than any other type of card. I'll have all of the links to the products I used as well as this card kit in the description box if you're interested in checking them out. So here's a close-up look at card number 10. I added a few peach sequins around this one as well. And then here's a look at the inside. Thanks so much for sticking with me through this long video. I hope you enjoyed it and you were inspired to sit down and create some fun cards of your own. I'll be back again really soon showcasing more of the club kits for June for Spellbinders. I hope you have a wonderful day, my crafty friends. Take care. Bye.